Yes, Kip Moore. How you guys?
Kip, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Thanks for calling today.
You bet. You bet.
So you got a new album coming out.
Yeah, coming out May the 29th.
Yeah, I was reading about it last night. It's called Wild World, and the first thing that popped into my head, is this an homage to Cat Stevens by chance? A little nudge?
I love Cat Stevens, but it's not.
No, okay.
The song sounds completely different, feels different, and
Yeah.
it's just it was the first hook that fell out of my mouth, and I immediately thought of Cat Stevens the minute that I said it, but it was a natural thing that fell out of my mouth. It wasn't. I wasn't. Basically, what I mean by it is, it's not like I was listening to that song before I went in to write. Like, no part of this song feels like that song, but the minute that I said it, I immediately thought of Cat Stevens, and I just and then it became kind of a tip of the cap to him. But it wasn't I started to call the song something else, but I said, nah, that's the first thing that came out of my mouth, so I stuck with it.
Well, I was putting together some questions last night, and I read Wild World, and then I'm sitting there and singing it in my head, and I had to ask.
Oh, that's all good, man. I get it. I love Cat Stevens.
Now, with this new album, what can fans expect with this?
They can expect what they always get with me, and that's, I try to always stay very authentic to where my soul is at that time of writing the music. I don't try to sugarcoat the way I feel. I say it how I feel, and they're going to always get a very bare bones, honest approach of where I was at that particular time in my life.
Now, that brings to mind another question. You are very candid about how you feel, and you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you just say it how it is. Does that ever bring any heat on you, like with your team saying, Kip, come on?
100%.
Yeah.
100% it does. Even like right now, me admitting that, there'll be, I'll probably get some flack over this. It's, first off, we live in a very sensitive society, period. Everybody gets their feathers ruffled some way, shape, or form. You can't say anything without offending somebody, and especially when you're saying how you feel or, speaking what you think is the truth. If you are saying the truth, a lot of times people don't want to hear or see that. So, it backfires on me a whole lot, but, I haven't managed to wrangle it in yet, so I probably won't be able to.
Oh, sorry. We like you just how you are.
I appreciate it.
Now, what would you say is the main theme of the album, if there is one, a theme?
I think it's the search for joy and simplicity. I think that there's a lot of questions about what faith looks like to you. To me is what I mean, but to everyone, where you see yourself in that, what God looks like to you, and where you find yourself in that whole spectrum, and the search for your purpose and the simplicity and the joys in life. And I think that there's also a mirror that is, on myself throughout the record of digging up old bones and facing those heavy weights that I've been carrying around, whether they be regret or whatever they are, and facing them and digging them up and trying to make peace with them.
With everything going on, how are you handling quarantine, and have you picked up any new hobbies?
I've gotten heavily into rock climbing. I have a lodge in the Kentucky mountains, and some of the best rock climbing in the world, the Red River Gorge, and I've been rock climbing probably 5 days a week on some of the best cliffs in the world. So, it's a pretty intense sport. You find yourself, a little over 100 feet up on these cliffs a lot of times, and it can be a certain test of that fear factor. But I've loved it. And I've woke up every morning, had my feet in the dirt, had coffee, and I get a little time to read. And I'm okay with solitude. I know a lot of people aren't, but I've been traveling the world by myself, surfing and things like that for years, and I think sometimes, as difficult as it is, these times are needed.
Now, a lot of changes have been made to people's daily life, and eventually things are going to come back to some sort of normal. Maybe what's one thing you hope doesn't change back when all this clears up?
I could probably do without all the TikToking. But I don't know if people know they can dance without it being filmed.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew that they could just dance for the fun of it, but whatever.
I love it.
No, I'm kind of making a joke, but I don't know. I hope that I hope that we get back to the essentials of real conversation. I find it hard to believe that we will.
Yeah.
But I hope that people actually talk to each other and actually tell each other how they feel instead of making a novel post about it. Maybe they can just roll over and tell their loved ones how they feel.
Amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Now, what are the first 3 things you're looking forward to doing when things get back to normal and restrictions are lifted?
Having coffee in a cafe full of people smiling.
Yeah.
Playing a show and seeing fear gone. Giving a random old person a big old hug on the side of the street.
Love it. I'm a huggy person myself, and it's been really hard not to be able to hug family and friends, and that's a big one for me.
I hear you, buddy.
So I put it out to fans what they would ask you given the chance, and we got some really great response on it. Jennifer wants to know, what's your go-to stay-at-home snack that you've eaten way too much of?
Oreos. I gotta put the Oreos down before they are the death of me.
Now, is there original Oreos? Because I know they have a whole bunch of flavors, especially in the States.
I do the original, man.
Original?
The original with a glass of whole milk.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. And I know that just probably made some vegan people mad, but that's just the truth. It's Oreo and a little bit of whole milk.
Yeah. And making rock climbing a little bit harder each time.
For sure on that end.
Yeah. Kayla wants to know, what's a place in the world you want to visit that you haven't been to yet?
Vietnam.
Is there a reason?
I'm dying to go to Vietnam. I love Vietnamese food. I love the people. I love the culture. And that's my next stop. Amazing.
And finally, from Tanya, what have you been doing to keep busy during the pandemic, say, other than rock climbing, because we figured that out?
Working out like a madman in my loft upstairs and playing NBA 2K on PlayStation.
NBA 2K, nice. Who's your favorite player to be on NBA 2K?
I'm Kawhi Leonard every single time.
Every single time. Nice. We do love Kawhi Leonard up here in Canada.
I know you do.
And they all want to know, since it's been just over 1 year since you were in Halifax, when can we expect you back?
Hey, as soon as they lift the border up, I'm headed y'all's way. I'm ready to play.
That's amazing, Kip. Thank you so much.
Hey, cheers, my brother. I'll see you soon.